guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on an all-new pre-workout supplement from an all-new Australian supplement company from our good friends down at Empire Performance Nutrition. It is, of course, Trilogy in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. That nutritional information panel ain't gonna get it done. We're about to go balls deep in this Empire Performance Nutrition Trilogy. Luckily, got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Dylan, go ahead and cut that panel up on the screen so the viewers can play along at home. Serving size for, we're gonna go straight up. I'll tell you guys straight up, we're gonna go the 2-scoop serve, which is that column in the middle, which means the serving size, 2 scoops, 14.3 grams. Got yourself about 20 of them 2-scoop, 14.3 gram bitches in one of these Empire Performance Nutrition Trilogy bitches. In terms of what the 14.3 grams is made up of, Empire Performance Nutrition have been kind enough to provide a fully transparent nutritional panel so we can see exactly what the active ingredients are and in their exact dosages. We can do a quick addition and quickly add up all of those actives and find that there's 12.73 grams of active ingredients spread across 11 different active ingredients. So we are dealing with 89% active ingredients, only 11% flavors, sweeteners, and colors, which is fantastic, especially for a pre-workout. We tend to see pre-workouts these days pushing, 25, 30, 40, sometimes even up to 50% artificial colors, flavors, and sweeteners. But Empire kept it nice and lean. 89% actives is a ton of actives, to be completely honest with you guys. In terms of what those active ingredients are made up of, starting from the top, got yourself a citrulline malate in a 6,000 milligram dose in a 2-scoop serve. Citrulline malate, of course, L-citrulline, bonded to malic acid in a 2-to-1 ratio. It's a precursor to arginine, which is going to boost nitric oxide levels. Boosting nitric oxide levels is going to improve blood flow, which is going to in turn increase nutrient delivery to working muscles. Going to improve muscle pumps, and if you're lean enough to get vascular, it's going to improve vascularity as well. The clinical dose of citrulline malate is 6,000 milligrams. We have 6,000 milligrams in a 2-scoop dose, so we would go so far as to say it is clinically dosed. Moving right along, we then get into beta-alanine. In a 2,500 milligram dose, beta-alanine increases the concentration of carnosine in working muscles, which is going to help buffer the buildup of fatigue toxins such as lactic acid, hydrogen ions, and others. It's going to therefore improve muscular endurance. A clinical dose of beta-alanine in a pre-workout is, of course, 3.2 grams. We only have 2.5 grams, so it is ever so slightly underdosed. Moving right along, we then get into my personal favorite type of creatine, and that is creatine hydrochloride, of course, in an 800 milligram dose. Creatine hydrochloride, as with all types of creatine, is a precursor to adenosine triphosphate, and adenosine triphosphate is the fuel source for the phosphate energy system. In short, more ATP equals more fuel for working muscles, especially when you increase it, when you're lifting that light weight like bags of feathers, baby. It's going to help increase muscle power, allow you to train harder for longer, and stimulate more muscle growth. The clinical dose of creatine hydrochloride is about 1,000 milligrams, so it is ever so slightly underdosed, but it does need to be considered with the other ingredients we're going to get to that are also beneficial for muscle power. Moving right along, we then get into caffeine anhydrous in a 280 milligram dose. Caffeine, of course, a central nervous system stimulant, going to enhance physical energy, reduce fatigue, and boost psychological performance. A clinical or efficacious, or let's go with most preferred dose of caffeine in a pre-workout is 200 to 300 milligrams. We've got 280 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say that it is very well dosed. In fact, for me personally, my personal opinion here, I really like pre-workouts that are like 250 to like pretty much 280. Like this, when you start getting towards 300 for me, it's kind of, when you go over 300, it's too much salts. So 280 for me in terms of caffeine anhydrous is like, I'm gonna give you one of these emojis for the 280 milligrams of caffeine in a 2-scoop serve of this Empire Performance Trilogy. Moving right along, we then get into L-Taurine. In a 1,000 milligram dose, L-Taurine is an aminosulfonic acid that's going to improve muscular endurance, works quite well in combination with beta-alanine, as a matter of fact. Also going to improve cardiac function and boost blood flow via very mild vasodilation. The clinical dose of L-Taurine, 500 to 2,000 milligrams. We have 1,000 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it's perfectly dosed. Moving right along, we then get into agmatine sulfate as the registered version, AgMass. In a 1,000 milligram dose, agmatine sulfate, a nitric oxide booster, inhibits the enzyme that breaks down nitric oxide. So you can start to see here a little bit of synergism between the citrulline malate boosting nitric oxide levels through the arginine pathway, and then agmatine sulfate inhibiting the enzyme that breaks down that excess nitric oxide. So we got some good tag team action happening here with the citrulline malate and the agmatine. Clinical dose of agmatine sulfate, 750 to 1,500 milligrams. We have 1,000 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it's very well dosed. Moving right along, we then get into L-Tyrosine. In an 800 milligram dose, L-Tyrosine, a nootropic amino acid. It's a precursor to L-Dopa, which in turn is a precursor to the neurotransmitters dopamine, noradrenaline, and adrenaline. It's going to improve cognition in the presence of stress and generally have an uplifting effect on your mood. Clinical dose of L-Tyrosine, 500 to 2,000 milligrams. We have 800 milligrams, so it is towards the lower end of that dosing range, but still within it, so we would go so far as to say clinically dosed. Moving right along, we then get into Creatine Hydrochloride in a 40 milligram dose, aka N,N-dimethyltyramine. It's a very, very strong central nervous system stimulant. Also going to boost metabolic rate and reduce appetite. It's quite popular. Quite often you see Creatine used in fat loss supplements as opposed to pre-workouts. Efficacious dose of Creatine is at 25 to 50 milligrams. We have 40 milligrams. We would go so far as to say it is a clinically dosed. Moving right along into another ingredient that we generally see in fat loss formulas, not in pre-workouts, and that is Hyginamine in a 60 milligram dose. Hyginamine is a beta-2 adrenergic receptor agonist, which means it's going to relax smooth muscles, in your lungs in particular, and act effectively as a respiratory system relaxant, but then also work as a stimulant in your heart to increase the power of your heartbeat. The clinical dose of Hyginamine, 25 to 50 milligrams. We have 60 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it's actually a little bit overdosed. Moving right along, we then get into Elevate-TP. In a 150 milligram dose, this is a proprietary ancient peat and apple extract developed by a company called Futureceuticals, registered trademark to Futureceuticals. Stimulates the production of adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Actually works as an alternative to creatine, but works quite well in conjunction with creatine. So once again, a little bit of synergism going on here between the Elevate-TP and the creatine hydrochloride. It's therefore going to help increase muscle power, help you train harder for longer and stimulate more muscle growth. Clinical dose of Elevate-TP is 150 milligrams. We have 150 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it's perfectly dosed. And then finally, our 11th and final ingredient, the Juglans Regia, aka J. Regia extract in a 100 milligram dose. This is your walnut bark extract that acts as a psychoactive central nervous system stimulant. It's going to boost energy, enhance cognitive function, decrease appetite, act as a bronchodilator. And also the psychoactive component is going to increase dopamine and noradrenaline, which is going to elevate your mood and feeling of well-being. The clinical dose of J. Regia is 75 milligrams. We have 100 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it is overdosed. Got yourself about 11% artificial colors, flavors, and sweetness. And that's what's in it. Not bad timing on 11 ingredients, if I might say so. I'm going to give myself a pat on the motherfucking back for getting through those so quickly. On paper, as you guys can see, a pretty damn well put together pre-workout supplement. Most of the ingredients are at least clinically dosed. A bunch of them are over clinically dosed. There's a couple that are, lacking a little bit, but then you do have synergisms to kind of fill in the gaps as well. The synergism between citrulline malate and agmatine, the synergism between the slightly underdosed creatine hydrochloride and the L-ATP, the synergism between all of the psychoactive CNS stimulants. It is, you look at it on paper and you're like, man, these guys, this is for a new supplement company, they have done A-okay with the formulation of this pre-workout supplement on paper. If we were to get picky and look at what it's missing, definite gap for something for a little bit more mental focus and acute concentration, something like a choline, an alpha GPC, acetylcholine, some type of choline in combination with huperzine A is, for me personally, the 1-2 punch when it comes to acute concentration and increasing mental focus. Definitely nothing that kind of touches that pathway at all on paper in this formula. The other thing it's missing is something for muscle volume and hyperhydration. So a glycerol, a Hydromax, a Glycipump, something like that. A big kind of gap in the formula there as well. But apart from those two things, it covers off all your bases for pre-workout. Energy, muscle pump, muscle power, feeling of well-being, muscular endurance. It really does, tick a lot of the boxes on paper when we look at the type of effects that we generally, want to get from our pre-workout supplement. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in 2 flavors. Comes in... You see it? Can you see it? It's so small. I'll be honest with you. When I was looking for the flavor and I was like, where the it's up here. Very, very small on the label. I don't even think I can get some. Can I get some zoom of focus action on this one, please? There we go. No, you guys still can't. It's too small. Anyway, grape, AKA grape drink, comes in. Once again, you guys can't see it. You're gonna have to take my word for it. Tropical. You'll see when I mix it up. What you're about to see. You'll take my word for it when you see the color of it. 2 flavors: grape drink and tropical. We have the tub that I've been using is actually the tropical flavor. So I'm gonna just bust this open, and look at that. We've got some powder all over all in the fucking filming studio. I'm about to take this pre-workout up a notch. You know what I'm saying? Infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down. Got our double wall glass with a spoon. I'm going to, now, even though everything I've done is on the 2-scoop dose, to be fair, there's not a lot of water in this glass right here. There's probably 150 to 200 mils. And when I've been taking the Trilogy, I use like almost a full TMJ Elite shaker. So for the purposes of the taste and mixability test, I'm actually just going to go 1 scoop in this double wall glass of water. So let me grab one scoop of this Empire Performance Trilogy. Let me throw this bitch in this bitch. And let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist of this tropical flavor, and as I mentioned, you guys will now take my word for it because it is a tropical color, at least. A few flicks of the wrist. I'm gonna show you guys how it mixes and then refresh my memory on how this tropical Trilogy tastes, man. In fact, while I'm doing that, I'm gonna let it sit because I actually want to show you guys something while it sits. I will mention as well that I weighed the scoop because I wanted to see how close the scoop was. So 1 scoop's supposed to be 7.15 grams, 2 scoops doubled that, obviously 14.3. Empire have nailed this scoop. And I know it's not really that big a deal, but it is a big deal because most companies pre-workouts don't even it's not, usually we say at MassiveJoes, if it's within 10%, it's kind of acceptable. 5% is amazing. This scoop weighs 7.15 grams. I don't even know how they got it to be that accurate, but legit. And it's you can see it's quite a unique sized scoop compared to most pre-workouts, but it is bang on 7.15 grams. I just thought I'd mention that because I was shocked when I put it on the scale. I was like, man, they nailed this shit. Anyway, now it's sat there. I just want to show you guys in terms of how it mixes. One thing that you will notice is that it does settle towards the bottom. So I'm not even sure if I don't want to don't want to tip the shit on myself, but let me get a little bit of angle. You guys can see that just towards the bottom there, is it does settle a little bit. The good news is once it's settled, just a few more flicks of the wrist, and it mixes completely. And that is why I'm going to say a blender ball is not required. For this Empire Performance Nutrition Trilogy, let me refresh my memory on how this fluoro-colored tropical tastes, man. The flavors across both of them, I'm going to speak generally about tropical and grape before I tell you which one I prefer. The flavors, both of them, are quite pleasant, but they're also quite strong. And both of them have a very strange kind of metallic aftertaste going on. It's hard to describe. It's not bitter, it's not sour, it's like metallic. I don't even know if that's a way of describing a taste, but f it, I just did it. It's an interesting aftertaste. I mean, keeping in mind they've only used 11% artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, and they've done a fucking great job for only 11%, to be honest with you guys. Tropical is not bad. Grape is definitely, if I had to rank the two, grape drink, you know what I'm saying? For me personally, it shits on tropical, but they are both very pleasant flavors to drink. Just use, what I will recommend is use, I mentioned to you guys how much water I use for 2 scoops. Use more water than you think you'll need because the flavors are strong and that aftertaste really does like, it kind of just, yeah. So use more water than you think you'll need, and you guys, I think you'll enjoy the flavors. They're not bad at all. In terms of the effects, because that's what you're taking this shit for, let's be honest, viewers at home, it's a pre-workout. Want to know about the effects of this pre-workout. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the 5 main things that we like to see in pre-workout formulas and give you guys my personal opinion, and then kind of pull it all together for you on where I think this Trilogy pre-workout fits in and who I think is going to enjoy it the most. Starting with Muscular Endurance, not bad, definitely noticeable, but nothing outstanding. And that's kind of to be expected looking on paper, slightly underdosed in beta-alanine, but you do have taurine there. So a good effect on muscular endurance, but nothing that you're like, I can just train forever. Mental focus, kind of scattered, to be honest with you guys. There's definitely not like a tunnel vision mental focus effect or an enhanced concentration going on. There is definitely an increase, an elevation in your mood and your feeling of well-being. I definitely get that a lot, and that's quite a long-lasting effect as well. I've trained on this Trilogy a couple of times where it's been a really long day, you know, I'm just like mentally exhausted and I really didn't feel like training, and I've taken the Trilogy and it just like the uplifting effect on the mood and feeling of well-being has been exceptionally pronounced. But so far as mental focus, acute mental focus, definitely lacking in that area in my personal experience with this pre-workout. Muscle power, very good. Once again, nothing mind-blowing, but very solid muscle power. You definitely notice on those bigger muscle groups, chest, back, legs, that lightweight feels like bags of feathers, baby. I would actually go so far as to say quite good muscle. Like, I'm not going to say exceptional muscle power, but I go so far as to say I'm thinking about the workouts I've done on it, and I felt strong. I felt really strong on it. So I would actually go, you know, quite good muscle power. Muscle pumps, really f***ing good. I mean, that 1-2 combo, that tag team combination of a full dose of citrulline malate for me, and I personally prefer citrulline malate to free formula citrulline. I don't know why the f***, but I just do. That full dose, full 6 grams of citrulline malate with a big 1,000 milligrams of agmatine sulfate. I mean, that 1-2 punch, man, for me personally is just such a great 1-2 punch when it comes to muscle pumps. The muscle pumps on this Trilogy are really, really exceptional. And then finally, the energy. And I'm going to circle back here and tie this all in with the feeling of well-being as well. The energy on this is really, really something special. And I think this is kind of really the effect where this pre-workout does kind of stand out. And let me just frame this correctly for you. It's not a super high stimulant, knock your fucking head off pre-workout. It's not that at all. That is not the positioning of this pre-workout in the big scheme of pre-workouts. We're talking about energy that comes on very fast in combination with a very fast uplift in mood and feeling of well-being that lasts for a long time, that's very clean, which for me is a big thing. And I really like the fact that they've only used 280 milligrams of caffeine, because I know that they would have been tempted to do some stupid bullshit and throw like 350 or 400 in there and just completely ruin the pre-workout. But the fact that there's only 280 milligrams in the 2 scoops, so you get all the clinical doses that we've talked about so far in this raw review of all the active ingredients, you can do that because you don't have to worry about there being some retarded amount of caffeine in there. Is very, very good formulating from my personal point of view. And the effect, therefore, of getting the full clinical doses of all those active ingredients, plus the rapidly onsetting, clean, long-lasting energy with the elevation in feeling of well-being and mood, is just it's a great feeling to train on this pre-workout. I would say at this point in time, one of my favorite pre-workouts to train on, just because of the way it makes me feel. And I mentioned to you guys, like, I've trained on it a few times where I've just like gone to the gym. It was not something I wanted to do, but I had to get my workout in, and I dropped the Trilogy and I'm like, man, this is like, I just feel really good, and I've had really, really good workouts on it. And I think that's really kind of where this does fit into the landscape of pre-workouts. It's not going to rock your socks. It's not going to blow your mind in any aspect. It's going to tick a lot of the boxes, tick them very well, and then it's just a really nice pre-workout to train on that you know is going to get you a nice amount of energy, come on fast, last for a long time, not drop you like a sack of shit with a post-workout crash, and just a very, very reliable pre-workout formula. In terms of side effects, couple of things. Even though it's not a stupidly high stimulant pre-workout, you do have a significant dose of caffeine plus hordenine plus hyginamine plus J-Regia. So if you are sensitive to stimulants, I definitely start at 1 scoop and work your way up from there and just kind of find that sweet spot, because 2 scoops may be a little bit too much for you with that combined effect of all those stimulants. So start at 1, work your way up and kind of see where your sweet spot is. The other thing to be aware of is the big dose of agmatine, which ties into stackability, which I'm going to talk to you guys about next. You can obviously stack this with any non-stimulant. Let me repeat, non-stimulant, muscle pump or volume formula, or non-stimulant mental focus formula if you wanted to bump up, the lack of muscle volume or the lack of tunnel vision mental focus. Just make sure it's non-stimulant. And if you are stacking it with a pump or volume formula, just beware of that big dose of agmatine, because there is 1,000 milligrams. And for most people, when you start getting towards 1,500, 2,000 milligrams of agmatine in an acute dose, it's going to upset your stomach and not make you feel so good in the guts. Final thing I will say, price and value for money in the Australian market. This Trilogy retailing for $69.95 Australian dollars for 40 scoops, or if you're taking the full 2 scoop serve, it's going to be 20 serves, which puts it at $1.75 per scoop, or $3.50 per 2 scoop serve, which does make it, I wouldn't say expensive, but definitely towards the more expensive in the big scheme of pre-workouts. But it is one of those situations, guys, you get what you pay for. You're ticking a lot of boxes when it comes to pre-workouts here, and you're getting a very, very reliable pre-workout. And guys, if you're in the market for that very, very reliable pre-workout that is just going to have you feeling real nice while you're training, get you some really good muscle power, amazing muscle pumps, decent muscular endurance, and just an amazing feeling, uplifting feeling of well-being and increase in mood, you gotta check out this Empire Performance Nutrition Trilogy. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the Massive Joes YouTube channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all-new Empire Performance Nutrition Trilogy in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay mad.
Thank you for tuning into this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.